Okay, so our first vlog in a series of many. I'm joined with the lovely Shada Abu Taya. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Abu Taya.
Day.
Taya. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for agreeing to chat today.
Thank you.
So I understand you're studying biology and biotechnology.
Yes.
Yeah, at Tel Aviv University.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm,
And you're originally from Nazareth.
that's right.
Yeah, and so Nazareth is it's the largest Arab city in Palestine, and its population is Christian and Muslim.
True.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the center of Palestinian nationalism in the occupied state. Is that correct?
What was the last sentence?
It's sort of like a center of Palestinian nationalism.
Not only Nazareth, but it's one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna have a wee chat today. I'm gonna ask you some questions. So first question I'd like to ask you, Shada, is what sort of financial situation were you and your family in prior to you being awarded the scholarship?
Well, it was a bit bad. My dad passed away 10 years ago, and my mom is the only provider. And I have an autistic brother too that needs he needs therapy and stuff. So she was like, she said, my mom, she's a math teacher. So she works to provide us home and stuff, and at the same time she wants to provide a few things for my brother.
Of course.
It was a bit hard at first for her. It got a bit better a few years after that. When I got the scholarship, my mom was studying, she was doing her master degree in mathematics.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. And it was like a bit different for her because like she really wanted to do her master degree, so she had to work less, but at the same time she needed to work more because I want to study.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like this a bit difficult when I wanted to study at first.
Yeah. Yeah, understandable. So when the scholarship program did become available, what did that mean to you? Like, how did that change things for you?
It changed a lot. It gave me hope that um, what I want to study, what I want to do is like achievable. I can do that, and money is not gonna stop me from doing that. And the scholarship didn't only help me, did help my mom too. Like she finished her master degree also because
Oh
she
wow,
had someone to help me. So yeah.
that's crazy. So like, not only have you been able to access your university course, your mom's been able to focus on her degree
Yeah,
and
so it's like two in one.
yeah, totally. That's brilliant. So your mom graduated.
Yeah, last year.
Fantastic. And has she found work now? Has she got a job?
Yes, she still works. It gives her privilege, I think. Like she can work like double time or something, or she can get more money because of her master degree.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So your family are all quite academic. You're all quite interested in learning.
Yes, my older brother also, he did study in Technion.
Okay.
My sister, she's not, she doesn't really know what she wants to study, so she kind of like tried a few things and she's like, no, I still haven't figured out what I want, so she's like stopped for now, but she's willing to continue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
I'm
takes
here
time.
studying.
Sorry?
And me, like I'm studying. So my little brother, he's in high school.
Okay, cool. And did you always know that you wanted to study biology?
I know when I was in middle school, like I loved really biology, and it's just like it was amazing for me. And in high school, I was like, I was interested in genetics, so it was like really interesting. I want to learn and to learn more about this. So my goal was always since high school, let's say, and it's still to do a master degree in genetics.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So you thought about your long-term goals and what you want to do after.
Yes.
After the course.
Mm-hmm.
So like just talking as well about being Palestinian, I think that all our supporters are very supportive of Palestine and the Palestinian cause, and I guess they'd like to learn more. So if you could tell us what does it mean to you to be Palestinian?
Wow, good question. Well, I guess it makes me stubborn kind of thing. And like, this is mine. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna achieve this. And like it helps me. I don't give up because of that. Like we don't give up. My people, our Palestinian people, we don't give up. So I think that helped me in a lot of different ways, like in my life and in my study and like in everything, because we grew up, my family going saying like, no, we can't give up, this is our land, this is our home. So it just like, it's in my mind all the time, I can't give up, I can do it, we still, and this is, I'm gonna get what I deserve and what of mine. So
That's such a good answer. That's, yeah, I guess like, having to kind of like fight to be recognized and seen the way you want to be seen sort of instills
yeah.
this kind of this doggedness, this scrappiness.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stories about our land, so it's like I want to show the other people our story,
Yeah.
not the others, like the true story. So it also like, it gives me this, that I need to explain to people that what's going on and stuff.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think your relationship with your national identity has changed since you've been a scholarship student?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I grew up in a home that we didn't really talk about this because it's a bit sensitive.
Yeah.
Like Abu Taya's family is a really big family, but half of them, they were forced to go to Jordan in 1948. So we don't really see them a lot. We don't meet them like face to face in person. So whenever like we meet them on several occasions, let's say, it's still hard to talk about this sometimes.
Yeah.
So yes, I grew up in a family that we can really talk about this. But since I was awarded with the scholarship and moved to Tel Aviv, which like I'm seeing stuff that I don't really see in Nazareth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it changed a lot. I became more like more close to my roots, to my story, to my history.
Do you find that you're able to talk about being Palestinian with the other scholarship students, and you kind of reaffirm each other's sense of belonging by talking out in the open? Is that something that happens?
We do talk a lot about this.
Yeah.
And it gives me also the opportunity to understand like other Palestinian people, what they've been through, what their families been through, and how do they feel about this. So at first I was like, okay, we were in a miserable things happened, but it also gives me the opportunity to listen to others Palestinians stories also.
Yeah. You must draw a lot of strength from that collective experience and that collective struggle.
Yeah, I had a friend from a village called Kfar Qasem. They had a massacre, I think it's called.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was my classmate, and every year she would talk about this, and like we would sit around together and talk about our feelings. How are we feeling about this? Like, okay, this happened 60 years ago, but we still like, it hurts.
Of course,
So
of course.
yeah.
60 years isn't that long.
True. And every year we do this rational thing. It's like we need to remember this. We need to talk about this more. We need to talk about our feelings.
Of course, of course.
Mm.
So are there any sort of workshops that you've done maybe with the ACA or Baladna that you particularly enjoyed in the scholarship program so far? I know like a lot of them have been about your national identity and reaffirming it.
The most things I liked were trips. We were going on trips in Haifa, and they were like, okay, the story about the street, and they'll tell us about that, or the story about this house, and they're like, a war or something here happened. So they would tell us the story that we're not supposed to know. Yeah, so I really like that. I was like, when I got to Haifa, I'll just go walking around. I don't know that. So when they told me about the stories, I was like, okay, so every spot in Palestine has a story that we need to hear about.
Yeah.
So I really like that. It's just like, and they open up my eyes and see stuff like I've never thought I would see, or just, I think I was blind seeing there, like people didn't really want me to see this. Yeah, so they really helped me to open up my eyes and to think in different ways, to see stuff in different ways. So yeah, the most things I like trips, because it's something like daily. Sometimes I go there every once in a while, but I didn't really notice what happened here. But there's a whole story, there's history about this.
Like you say that you felt that you were blind. Do you think that it's maybe more that you weren't allowed to see things? I mean, you were kind of you were sort of cut off from the truth of your ancestral experience.
Yeah, I guess that's more true.
Yeah.
Mm.
How do you feel when you learn the truth about the diaspora and the last 60 years? How does it feel to be made aware not only of the facts but of the fact that you were prevented from understanding?
I get angry most of the time. I was like, it was in front of my eyes, but I couldn't see it. So it just really made me angry. Like, why?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good that I know about this, like, for now.
Yeah.
And but I wish I've heard about this earlier. So that's like, if I grew up with this, I think it's more better for me. It's like, yeah. We should talk about this when we little kids. So
we should, or we shouldn't?
We should.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah, of course. So tell us about your studies. How is the biology course going? How are you getting on?
Well, I'm about to finish. It's my last semester.
Oh,
finally. Wow. Yeah. It's a hard one, actually. They went good. I think last year was a bit hard because it was on Zoom and stuff, and yeah, it wasn't really cool. But well, I liked it. I like biology, so I really like that. But the thing that I hate about biology, that it's like 99.9% you need to remember stuff. And I'm not a person who does that. So I was like, I really like biology, but I can't remember all this stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your exams are your exams just about regurgitating facts? Like, it's not.
Yeah, they're just like, you need to remember like what this species are different than the others.
Yeah.
And in the exam will ask you like, okay, these two are different. How are they different?
Right.
And you got like a few answers, and you need to choose one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like it. And I'm doing a lab project.
Okay.
I like it too.
What's the lab project?
So there's yeast in the bodies, on our bodies, that usually it's not harmful, but when it gets to at the immune system, it gets harmful. And there's a drug against it, but sometimes it became resistant. So we're looking for mutations in the DNA of this yeast that makes it more resistant to the drug.
Okay, interesting.
It is.
Do you like is experiment something that you enjoy? Do you enjoy that aspect of the course?
It is. It is. There's like a lot of different things we study here. The most thing that I dislike is plants.
Right.
Because for me, they're like green stuff and that's it. But no, there's like really complicated stuff going on in there. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to be like that. Yeah, but like I like it. I like genetics courses. I like I don't know, math courses and stuff.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What do you like about maths? Is it like the logical aspect, or?
I like laws and rules, and like you have these equations. So okay, you can solve it now. That's what I like about it. Like, okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't really happen in biology. So it's like, oh, but I like biology still.
You like when things are kind of black and white and there's no gray areas. You like
Yeah.
definite
Yes.
answers.
Yes. True.
I'm the opposite. I love.
Really?
I much prefer like language and yeah. I don't do well when things are kind of one way or the other. I don't know. That's just me. So do you think you'll miss the course, or do you feel like you've done your time? It's time to look to the future.
Well, it always was my goal to do a master degree. So like I chose biotechnology and biology because they have a lot of labs and like it's more close to genetics, what I want to do next.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still my goal, but I'm not gonna start next year.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to take a break off away from studying and exams. But I'm
Definitely.
still
So do you plan to do like take a year off and then apply for the masters? Okay.
I hope so. Like this is the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And is the masters is that specializing in genetics? Okay.
Yes, in the same lab. Where I'm doing right now my project. I'm gonna do my master degree there too.
Okay, so still in Tel Aviv. Okay.
I kind of like it here. I don't know.
What do you like about it?
That they don't really talk about how you call that like the things between Israel and Palestinian.
Okay.
They're kind of like they don't want to talk about this. So one of the opportunities I had to go to Jerusalem and study biology there. Like they're really good at genetics and biology there, but I was kind of afraid to go there.
Okay.
So it was like, I really want to go, but I don't feel safe.
Okay.
Because I hear people talking, and because I'm a Muslim woman who wears hijab, and that's not really, that's against me kind of.
Okay.
So yeah, I came to Tel Aviv. They don't really talk about this, and so I think it's more safe than Jerusalem, I think.
Okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
you just feel like more free and more kind of invisible, I guess, more under the radar.
Yeah. We do sometimes have chats in the lab about this because we have a lot of like people coming from abroad that they're studying here. Like we have from India, we have from Argentina, we have like a lot of different people. So like they can go to Jerusalem or to Naples or to the West Bank, but Jewish people can't.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have this conversation about this, like being Palestinian or Israeli. So, but I never, even though I feel safe here, but I couldn't say that I consider myself as a Palestinian.
You wouldn't consider yourself what, sorry?
I do consider it, but I couldn't say that.
You couldn't say that, okay. So you
Yeah.
couldn't openly say in Tel Aviv, I'm a Palestinian Muslim.
In Tel Aviv, like overall, I can. When we have this, how do you call this? Like people going around and have, oh my God, I can't remember the name.
Protests?
Yeah, protest. So sometimes I do go to protest, and I feel like safe because, you know, all of us doing the same thing and we're all students here and stuff. But when I'm talking about this, like in other people, with Jews, with the Jewish people, with, I don't know, someone else, I don't really feel safe to say that because, you know, I'm one and there are like a lot of people. But
Yeah.
when I'm with, yes, when I'm with the Palestinian students, that feels more safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah. So do you think that once you get your master's, you will go back to Nazareth, or do you think that you might stay in Tel Aviv, settle?
No, I don't think I'm gonna settle in Tel Aviv.
No.
No, that's just for like studying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I find work here, I may consider that.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't really feel at home here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, I'm here just because I need to go to university. But whenever I go home, like on weekends, okay, that's home.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different safe. Okay, Tel Aviv safe, but home is different safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing about biology that you have like to continue study so you can be better in your field.
Yeah.
So like my degree now doesn't really consider something, and I can't really find work with this degree, so I kind of like have to do master degree and other stuff like doctorate and postdoctorate.
Of course. Of course.
Mm.
So do you live on campus, and do you live in
And
like student
dorms.
accommodation?
No, I don't live in dorms. I live in an apartment.
Oh, cool.
Well, I wanted to live in dorms, but they didn't have time. They didn't have place, and I was in waiting list like number 500 something. I was like, okay, I don't usually give up, but I'm gonna give up on this. So yeah, I live in an apartment.
Cool. And then you go home at the weekends and see your mom and your siblings. Cool.
Last year, I guess. When was it? In May? Yeah, we had this like kind of war last year, and it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of afraid. I was home back then. I was kind of afraid to come back to Tel Aviv because, you know, okay, I don't really live in dorms. I'm living in an apartment in a building with Jewish people. So okay, they don't usually talk about this stuff, or they don't really you know, like they don't treat us different because we're Muslims. But still, I got this idea like, okay, I'm living in a building with all of them Jewish people. So how am I going to do this? Is it safe to go there or not? So I had this thought, but I had to come back.
Of course. Yeah.
Finally, yeah. But it didn't actually, it wasn't different. They would say hi, they would say good morning as we used to say, and just didn't feel different. But still, like, I don't know, I'm not really safe here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I can imagine. Did that kind of feeling of intrepidation and lack of safety, did that go away quite quickly after May, or by the summer was it settled?
Kind of, yes, actually.
Okay, that's good.
Mhm.
That's good.
When actually two of my roommates, they were in the apartment back then when there were like missiles and stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, so they went to like safe room.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, And like I asked them, how did they treat you? You were with Jewish people in the same safe room, and like, did something happen? And she's like, no, they were nice with us. They were asking, are you okay? Are you afraid? Do you need something? There's water. There's everything you need here. So I guess I was kind of like afraid because we're supposed to be, I
Yeah,
guess. But they were kind of people this time. I
that's
hope they'll be this nice always.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so in terms of your own kind of immediate future, you've thought about further studies and what you want to specialize in. Thinking kind of nationwide, like what hopes do you have for the future of Palestine? Do you think about that ever?
I do. I always do. Well, when I think that we will have bright future and stuff, but let's be real, it doesn't really happen like this fast. Doesn't really happen in a day, in a night. It doesn't really change like that. So to have this really bright future where it's not gonna be easy for us, and like it's gonna be hard. We will lose a lot of people. We will go in Nakba another, like again. But I think being a Palestinian made us really unite together. Like sometimes, okay, we have fights with other families or stuff, but at the end, when it comes to the Palestine, it's just no, we're all in this together. So this is like I really like this about us, but in the same time we're like, okay, so I'm just a bit afraid that when we get our lands again and like be Palestine again, we will fight about stuff that we really shouldn't. We will like fight about who's gonna be the president or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fight. Yeah, so that's really, I don't know, I think about this a lot because like we're doing this right now, like in cities and like villages, we have this kind of like president of every city.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not always a good time. Like they always fight who wants to be the president. We always like divide, okay, I'm with this person, no, you're with this person. So even like I'm talking about like a city. What's gonna happen if we talk about a whole country? So I really want to be Palestine again, and I'm really gonna go for it, and we're gonna be united. But after that, what's gonna happen? I'm just really
Yeah.
afraid about that.
I think that's human nature though, isn't it? There's always going to be issues to work through and there's always going to be disagreements. But I get what you're saying. There's this one kind of macro issue that's uniting all Palestinians at the moment, which
Mhm.
is um, free Palestine. But then once that's achieved, is there real compatibility amongst the huge
Yeah.
population? It's yeah, it's interesting. Like
Yeah, and we like there's also West Bank and there's
yeah,
Gaza, and so that's a bit concerning.
yeah,
But uh, like the amazing thing about this uniting us that we don't really like differentiate about like like Muslims or Christians. We're all in this together.
yeah,
We're Arabs and we're Palestinians. So it doesn't really matter for us if you're like a Muslim now or a Christian or I don't know anything else or Jews maybe too. So it's really amazing when we go for protesting or stuff. It's like we're all in this together.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could like talk to you all day. So interesting, and you're very articulate and open, and like thank you for sharing your opinions with me. It's been really enlightening.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Not at all, not at all. Yeah, I mean that's all the questions I really had. Keep in touch with us on social media.
I will.
Yeah, like I'd love to hear how your exams go. I think all the supporters would as well, and how you're getting on with the masters in a year's time if you decide to do it. I think definitely keep us up to date with what you do.
Thank you.
All right, Shada. No worries. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.